Welcome back from lunch. It's good to have you here waiting for me when I get here. I think some of you were waiting. Apologize. It took a few more minutes longer than expected. We might have a very short break before the judge is back. But I had a great lunch, and then I actually went outside and I persuaded some squirrels to get off my house, as well as some invasive European starlings that think my home is a good place to make a nest, which I disagree. But that was all good fun. No animals were permanently harmed during lunch. Do we have pickles? Yes, a few. I'm trying to stretch them out. Today is shopping day, so hopefully we can get pickles back on the shopping list, and go check that out. I during the break I did not get to hear something that I want to hear, and I have to mute it so I don't embarrass MB. But I've got an audio recording from MB that I need to play because she says she does not sound like Jessica Rabbit, but she wouldn't tell me what she sounded like. But now we know. I will know in just a minute. I also had a little lock here. I was doing a little lock picking. Oh, you can't see me, can you? Now you can a little bit. Welcome back from lunch. Let's see, Miss Chris. Miss Chris, congratulations. You're grinning from ear to ear because you are the proud new owner of a shiny new internet. Freshly rebooted internet, I might add, so hopefully we shouldn't have any buffering issues today. But welcome. Thanks for being here. With your being first in chat, you did win the internet for the rest of the day, and you are responsible for everything IP-related worldwide until we have another show. So we'll get that emailed out to you, and I appreciate your volunteering to own it and maintain it. Edward Foster, good to see you here. Toxic, welcome back. I know I was supposed to do a few things during the break and I didn't, but I did eat. I got my comfort break and I got a little bit of target practice in, courtesy of a couple European swallows or European starlings. Ven, welcome. Good to have you. Miss Chris, you're finally all caught up. Whew. Yeah, did you go back and watch all the ones you missed? Is that what you did? Because that is just pure torture. I could have saved you the time and say you didn't miss anything. Nothing had happened. But Bella back. I missed lunch. I'm sorry. I'll give you a few minutes. Rowdy Girl says, we're back. We are. Pauline, good to have you. Anne as well. CG lets out a little bit of a belch. Well, good to have you here as well. Maybe drink it a little bit early today. Is that what you're doing, or was that a soda belch? Hey, default subscriber as well. Well, Mama. Good afternoon. CB Clark. Oh boy, I did get some messages from some of you, and thank you. You clarified a few things that are important regarding the evidence, particularly the gun. I talked about the murder weapon and how it has not been admitted in trial yet. It's been brought up and we've talked about it, but it's not an item in evidence to my knowledge at this point. Can't believe it's been an hour. It goes fast. It goes even faster when I'm here with you guys. I will say that. I can't believe that it had been 5 hours, but it had. I like the video before we even get started. You were first. That was good timing. Katrina, welcome. Wombat Mommy, welcome back. Whoa. My chat just updated, and there was a lot more of it than I thought there was. So I am no longer caught up. But thank you, everybody. Seven, Monica, see you there. Let's see. Got you, Bella, Miss Chris, Mac. Well, Mama, I think I still need to reach out to you regarding some merchandise ideas. I think you sent me something already, but I always am too busy working on the live stream to to work on the merchandise, but I might need some help here soon. Thank you, Keisha. Thanks for the encouraging everyone to hit the like button. It does help it show up on the feeds, and it helps people like you find us, which is always a good thing. Deer sausage for lunch. That's delicious. Lily, hello again. Good to have you. Okay, so I caught up on most of it. I think I even mentioned everybody. Debbie, saw you there as well. I'm back from the eye doctor and now here to keep you all in trouble. Your eyes are probably dilated, which means they're wide open, and we will not force you to watch too much more interrogation video. How about that? Because that could just burn into your retinas in your current condition. We don't want that to happen. All right, we're getting set. We're getting set to get a live feed. You guys might find this interesting. Let me show you this really quickly. This is going to look like an error screen, but I just want you to see it. This screen right here helps if I take the chat off. This TVU device, it's also its competitor's live view device. That's what I want. This is what I want. The machine that makes this picture is what I'm looking for. But that would allow me to live stream from any trial in which I can set up my camera and the judge lets me. So that particular splash screen, it's they call it bars and tones sometimes. It's a variation of that in the industry. But that particular screen is coming from Ken's 5, which means they have not yet started the live stream. Debbie says, I can listen and I have the mic set up. This is awesome. Are you going to be on Discord, Debbie? Is that where you're going to be? The gang of addicts are steadily streaming in and growing, I might add. We're picking up a few. We're converting or corrupting, depending on how you look at it, additional people and welcoming them in. Did Ortiz ever finish his burger? And no, he did not. He is mid-bite where we stopped. They literally paused it, or not paused it, but they terminated the recording on one disc and started on another with the burger in his mouth, lips over the bun, taking a bite, and that's, we don't know what happens after this. I can assume that he completes the bite and begins to chew, but we won't know until we watch the next episode of Eternal Interviews. I'm here feeding Pistol his lunch. Watch your fingers; he gets a little nippy. Join Ola this evening for voice chat in the Discord tonight. Toxic, I'll see if I can join as well. That might be fun. I was standing on my headphone cord and I felt like I was being tied down. All right, Randall, welcome back. So did I miss anything today? I'll rewind. No recap needed. You didn't. Don't worry about the rewind. We'll tell you he confessed to everything, all 4 murders, including the one that the police didn't know about. He did get a Whataburger and fries and a drink, and he's in the process of eating them in the interrogation video right now. Bad news is back. Welcome, Richard. Good to have you here. Weber County in Utah got 3 inches of snow. I'm facing southwest, so it'll probably melt off today. I tell you, if you are facing north in Utah and you get snow, it lasts for the whole season. If you have a driveway that faces north, you might as well just have a skating rink in front of your house. But if you're facing south, a few minutes after it falls, it'll probably just melt off. That's just how it works in Utah. It's all about which direction your house faces. High Speed Drifter says, get a rope. Are we at that phase already of the trial? Not sure. I want to post Ortiz med list on Discord. Where? Yeah, that'll be interesting. Reach out to Toxic on that one. There's probably a place. You can probably talk about it in general chat, and then she might steer you to the right direction. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Well, Mama says, Wombat Mommy, no way. We are Valley neighbors. Then you know all about it, and I won't share. You've had plenty. Yeah. Okay. Used to live in Cache Valley. I also used to live in Cache Valley. Lived on the island in Millville as a very small child, as just a wee one. Kit T, what time is court lunch over? First of all, welcome, Kit T, but it should be over in 10 seconds if we take the judge at his word for when we're going to begin. But I have not seen any motion, even on the Law and Crime feed, which is just staring at the wall, looking at the seal, watching the paint dry yet again. But it should be over soon. The judge has been late, like 3 out of the last 4 sessions. He's been late. Sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes more. The addicts always get what they want. Yes, we do. Katrina, only 3 inches. Those are amateur numbers. You guys are bragging about your snow totals. We get less than 3 inches of snow a year. I think we've had less than 3 inches of snow in the last 2 years combined here in North Carolina, where I'm at on the eastern side. High Speed Drifter says, I got banned on Twitter this week for saying drug dealers should get the death penalty. Elon Musk is musty on free speech. Well, apparently he didn't fire all the censors. That's all I can say. There are a couple issues that still seem to get people in trouble, and I think High Speed Drifter, you might have hit one of them. Maureen, good afternoon. Did I miss anything? Took a much needed nap. Maureen, no. You're probably better off than the rest of us, having slept through it. You can be brought up to speed fairly quickly. We still have the same witness on the stand that's been on the stand for the past 2 days, reading the cuss words in English when they're said in Spanish. That's what we're doing. But the only thing that's changed is the defendant, instead of talking, is now eating in the video. He's got a Whataburger. Recovery addict. The defense attorney, Perez, just elected judge in Bexar County. So I'm assuming this thing will be wrapped up by January when he starts a new job, hopefully by Christmas. CG, did he win? I heard he had run for office, but I didn't know he had won. So he's going to be a judge. This may be his courtroom. He's like, this may be his last appearance as an attorney. Okay, we've got a feed here. Hang on just one second. Okay, the feed is just the wall, but we have it. No audio yet, but it's turned on. So as soon as we hear that, hopefully there's a little bit of hot mic before we get going. I'd love me a little hot mic after lunch. Conservatives have to be believed in the death penalty for extreme killers forever. Why is this a surprise to Twitter mods? Yeah, we try to keep the political side of the discussion out of it here, High Speed Drifter, but do appreciate the varying opinions. Let's see. Hey, Twitter just got back from the funeral. What did I miss, Joellen? I hope it was beautiful. I hope it was just a great service. Not much has happened here in the trial. We still are going on. At High Speed Drifter, really, I do appreciate you being here. Anytime, please feel free to continue sharing opinions in chat. We just keep it all civil, and we're all happy. Michigan, that's MI, right? Michigan. Yeah, my 4th grade geography class is catching up to me. Hasn't had much snow the past few years and isn't expected to this year. Is this Mississippi? No, that's MS. MI, Michigan. Are you saying Michigan hasn't had snow? Am I reading this wrong? Am I completely off base? You'd think you would get snow. You seem to be one of the colder parts of the country. Oh, look at this. The judge put a gag on the Delphi case today. A gag order. It doesn't apply to everything we've already said, though. Sounds like that may not be televised then. Is that what we're hearing? Yeah, it's just strictly a matter of law. Yep, no, it's all good. Yeah, makes you think. Really, when they put a gag order, it makes us want to talk about it more. That's all it really does. But okay. Hope the next judge can get funds for far better video audio equipment and setups, including knowledgeable personnel, and just a whole closet full of HDMI cables. That could also help. Good afternoon from southeast Wisconsin by the Great Lake, Michigan. Good afternoon, Pam Jam. Good to have you here. How is the cold? I'm asking as someone who misses it. I went out and I talked with my neighbor here during lunch. He's a native, I guess you could say. He's a native of North Carolina. And so he's got a nice little accent that some people might find hard to understand at first, but the guy has a heart of gold. An older gentleman, wears a gun on his hip everywhere he goes. So he has his, I think it's his Glock that he was wearing today. And came over and he saw me out in the yard. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I've got a little fence around my yard. And so I walk over to see him. And he just about falls over because I'm wearing shorts and a T-shirt in bare feet. out here in the yard shooting at these starlings with my little Red Ryder BB gun. And he's like, it's winter. It's cold out. Why are you in bare feet? I'm like, this isn't cold. It's 60 degrees. It's 60 degrees. This is summer weather. Joellen, it was a beautiful funeral, but I do miss her. She was a good friend. I'm glad it was a good service. And welcome back, Joellen. I hope if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. Anyway, let's see. Oh no, Little Miss, what's the best thing to get rid of fleas? No fleas is awesome. As any pet mama will tell you, no fleas is awesome. Little Miss, snow gets rid of fleas, right? Cold weather. Nothing in the courtroom yet. The Delphi coverage must be retroactive. Everyone has to recant all statements. Yep. Delete everything on the internet about whose job is that? Whose job is that today? Let's see. Is that Miss Chris? Is that your job to delete everything on the internet about Delphi? If you could just get on that really quickly just to be in compliance with the judge's gag order, that would be great. New Hampshire hadn't had snow yet. I don't think many places. Utah got snow, and that's all I've really heard so far. Did you have a meeting? OK Corral. Did who have the meeting? Okay. Let's see. There are a couple conversations. I'll try not to jump in the middle of them. CG says, "What's the Delphi case?" Delphi case is the arrest of Richard Allen and the arrest of the two girls who went missing. They were seen on the bridge, and then one of the girls took a video of the person they believe is the murderer, and they got that on the phone. They found the girl's dead and recovered her phone and have this video of him saying, "Hey guys, down the hill." That's what they got. Okay, let's see. I'm from Canada. I've seen enough snow. Beautiful day in Okeechobee, Florida. How do I say that? Okeechobee, I think, Florida. Help me if I said that wrong. Don't they know the interwebs is eternal? Right. Once posted on the web, it is there forever. I can vouch for that. Let Zuckerberg erase everything. He's good at it. Okay, good weather. Pretty much everywhere else. Rowdy Girl says, "I knew running the internet came with too much responsibility." That's the risk you take in being the first in chat. I realize a couple of you have tried to be first in chat and even recanted your statements when you thought you were first but ended up being second or third. That happens occasionally. Stick with it. You will eventually win. That will happen. And then you'll realize that it's not as cool as everyone makes it to look out to be, and it's a lot of work. Okay, I think we've caught up on all. Oh, nope. Man, my chat is being really finicky. Record storm in Buffalo a few weeks back, 77 inches. Right. So when I say Utah got a little snow and nobody else did, obviously Buffalo is also an exception to that. They had a lot of snow in a very short while. You want some creepy music? I do have some creepy music. Let's see. Hello, welcome to the internet. We will be your guides. Creepy music plays. The pronunciation was beautiful. The first time. That is actually a first for the stream where I pronounced a large, a long name correctly. Just mark it down in your journals because it will probably never happen again. All right, beautiful day in Arizona. Okay, I think we're good. Wow, creepy music. We did get it. You ask and you shall receive. That's how it works here on this channel, High Speed Drifter. I appreciate you being here, though. But we'll mute this creepy music just a little bit because I think the judge is going to be coming back any second now, really. I mean, I realize everybody, if you were to poll the courtroom, everybody probably in there had a Whataburger for lunch. Advertising works that way. I mean, it's just, he says lunchtime and they think, what should I eat? And the first thing that comes to mind is I could really go for a Whataburger, maybe some fries and a soda. But I'm sure Whataburger nationwide just had a huge boost in sales. And we do have a little bit of video. As the defendant is back in, wearing a tie as usual. He's only once been in court without the tie, and I think he took it off just to relax and forgot to put it back on. Honestly, I really think so. Adjust the iris on the camera here, get a good picture. Looks like LNC is delayed on their feed. Why is that? Okay, and KSAT still hasn't come up quite yet, but that's okay. High Speed Drifter, appreciate the super chat. Dropping in with a big red thumbs up to get the day going. I think that was for my pronunciation of that little town or little city in Florida that I probably couldn't pronounce correctly again if I tried. But thank you. I do appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you being part of the channel and supporting us. It's wonderful. It would not be the same without you. Okay, I'm ready for audio. Let's bring the audio in, right? Who has the number for the IT guy down there in the courtroom? Because he just needs to push a button. We'll be good to go. Gabby Petito's parents and Brian Laundrie's parents will come face-to-face for the first time since the death of their children during depositions, which are now scheduled for January 24th. They're face-to-face for depositions, or are they held in the courtroom at the same time? Or are they at different locations? That'll be interesting. Yeah, there's no love lost between those two families right now, with the lawsuits and all. And, the crime. But that's interesting. Good information, Mom's in. Ashley just pocket dialed 911. Is that what you did, Ashley? You just called the emergency services by accident. How long were they listening in to whatever you were doing before you realized you were on the phone with the emergency services, Ashley? Inquiring minds want to know. Did you talk to them? Are they sending someone out to check on you just in case it wasn't an accident and you're just blink twice if you need help, right? Face-to-face per WFLA. That'll be interesting. Strong emotions there, definitely. I wonder if they're going to keep it in check or if it could, sort of blow up out of hand. The gag in the Delphi case bars Allen, all attorneys connected to the case, law enforcement, court staff, the coroner, and even family members from making extrajudicial statements by means of public communication. But it doesn't gag the press, which I loosely include myself in as a trained member and now a participant of the larger press on the internet, providing information for everyone else's entertainment and benefit. Jose Baez could have gotten him out of the sticky situation. More fun to watch, too. Right? He would definitely be a little bit livelier in court. Defendants leaning in and saying, look, I've done everything I can, but here's the rub. You're guilty, and everybody knows it. So you can either just fess up, or we can just, continue through the motions, but you're pretty much going to spend the rest of your life in jail. He's like, yeah, I know. Yep, I know. I can read lips. That's what I'm telling you. That's what's happening. Brenda says, throw a cat in the tree. Is that to get rid of the birds, Brenda, instead of shooting at them? I will tell you, the birds I'm shooting at are European starlings. They are a little black bird that is not native to the United States. It was brought in originally and released in New York in the big park. What's the big park? I forgot. There's a massive park in New York, like in the middle of the city. There's just like, I should know this. But the birds were bought and released in there for variety, even though they're very singular in their color. Central Park. They were released there, and they thrived. And they thrived so much they have spread over most of the U.S. You can often see them in the fall flying in what's called a murmur of starlings. And those birds, they can fly, 10,000 of them in a group. And when they fly over your car, you will know it. It happens. That's what happens. Anyway, so that's your information for the day. Back when I wanted to be a falconer, it was my idea to get a American kestrel and train it to eat European starlings. And that wasn't like a political thing. I don't have anything against Europe, like America versus Europe. It's just those are the name of the birds, and that would be a ready supply of food for the falcon. Ashley says, I think I pressed the power button on my phone too many times. The mobile started making loud siren noise, and a man from 112 answered. I couldn't apologize enough. Well, now you're on the list, Ashley. You're on the list of those people, right? So when you call them again, they'll be like, oh, here she is again. What's their excuse this time? So you can't cry wolf too many times and still expect them to come when needed. Central Park has a crazy origin story about how the land was stolen. A murmur, like a murder of crows. Yes, you're right, Miss Chris. It's a murder of crows, a murmur of starlings, a flock of geese, and a herd of moosen. I don't know. I've got to hear this story about how the land was stolen from Central Park. Who was it stolen from? I mean, other than the Indians originally. I'm sure that we could go back that far and definitely see that they have a case in that matter. But who owned it previously, and how did they end up getting it stolen from them? Monica says, I'm thinking he's going to change his plea. I don't see it in his face right now. I don't think so. Ooh, do you look at that? That was a glance back at family. That was a glance back at the families. I have not seen him look back over his shoulder before. Wow. Toxic Orchid says, I'm laughing so hard right now. We have this wee red squirrel that lives in our tree in the backyard, and he just put our boxer Tucker on the run. Squirrels are scary. They are so much faster than dogs as far as their quick movements. Ashley says, it's okay. I call the usual number instead and hope I'm not blacklisted on that one. Birds better than coyotes? 100 were released during Shakespeare plays. Okay, so did I miss who stole the land? We have those starlings also. Dirty birds, mean birds. They are very aggressive against native birds. Had 24 cardinals in our front yard yesterday. I tell you, moving to the East Coast, I've really enjoyed the change, the variety in the birds. We do get more colorful ones. Some of the jays and the cardinals and stuff out here. We don't get the western tanager, which was one of my favorite that I missed. It's a smaller bird, but it's got some bright yellow colors. And we don't have quite as many birds of prey. We do have like vultures and crows, but I do like the change of the birds. I love the mockingbirds that we have, little mockingjay, whatever, that mimics everything. You'll go through the whole list of all the songbirds and then mimic the neighbor's car alarm. It's the greatest thing ever. What a burger, what a murder burger. It might be a little too soon for them to jump on that slogan right now, but I can see that it might have some playtime. That might be work. That might work for them. I've had police activity like crazy on the street outside of the house. And just so you know, the street in front of my house is a 30-mile-per-hour street. It's lined with houses, right? I'm in a residential part of the neighborhood. It's a pretty major street, but it's one lane each direction. But we have police officers that will probably do upwards of 90 miles an hour down this street. And I don't know. I mean, I'm less than a quarter mile from a school, and it scares me to death that if something goes wrong, there's nowhere for them to go other than onto the curb, into the houses, over the sidewalk. But so far, no police accidents. Okay, a group of ravens is called an unkindness of ravens. Unkindness. That's one I didn't know. You match that up with the murder of crows, and the unkindness of ravens. Okay, Coffee Mom says there was a black family who owned it, and a family member forgot the deed, or forged the deed and sold it. Oh, it was sold on a forged deed. It was stolen. How do we make the proper reparations and return it to the family? Can you imagine how much Central Park is worth right now? I mean, just real estate based, not not as a park, but just square footage in the middle of New York. The value must be off the charts. A herd of turtles, a turd of hurdles, says Katrina. MB says, there's red squirrels. There are red squirrels. There's gray squirrels, red squirrels. There are fox squirrels. There are flying squirrels. And then you have ground squirrels as well. But CB Clark says, there was one tribe in 1400 and another slaughtered them. Then a third tribe slaughtered those victors in the 1500s, and not one of them were arguing subway tokens. We can go way back. It was probably stolen many times over. Whatever he said to him has changed his look. He looks defeated. Yep. He does look a little different, but I don't think he's ready to just plead guilty. I think at this point he knows the inevitable's coming, and he would rather just enjoy his day out instead of just bringing it to an end. African Americans owned the land. They owned Central Park. That is amazing. It's an amazing story. Europe owned Central Park and won it back. We took it from the king, fair and square. Seminole Village in Central Park. Roadrunner agrees about the coyote comment. Roadrunner would. French, English, Spanish, Portugal. Who stole what when? We all stole things from each other back and forth, but we've moved on. We really have. We're past that point. MB says our squirrels are brown. Mine are prolific. They're also brown, sort of like the traditional squirrel. But they survive solely on all the nuts that my 115-year-old pecan tree provides for them. And then they chew the nuts open and leave the sharp parts on the ground for me to step on when I'm walking barefoot in the yard through the fire ant nests. They're on to you, RA. They are. They're going to get me eventually. Told you we'd see RA on the news one day. They are zipping by my house at a regular basis. I think that was an ambulance, though, so I hope everything is okay. Even albino squirrels. Never seen an albino squirrel. A colony of bats. A flat... Ed, are you pulling my leg here before I read this out loud on the stream? A flatulence of cows. My husband had a flying squirrel as a pet. I had a friend that had a raccoon as a pet, illegally, I might add, because in the state I was in, it was illegal to have a raccoon as a pet. I've seen people have foxes as pets as well. We are back, says Ginger. Yes, it's animal information time. We need to know what a group of any particular kind of animal is called. That's what we're talking about. And Ed has come up with this flatulence of cows that I was pretty sure it was herd of cows. Although I can see how you could argue flatulence might be appropriate for cows. Rowdy Girl says we have white squirrels. Do they change color during the winter? Is it like a fur changing color, like maybe a fox or something like that? Every land title originated via theft of some kind, right? Someone claimed it when it belonged to someone else, and just the last person to stop fighting or to win the battle gets to keep it. Is this the normal look when the monster comes out? No, he's shown in the videos. Every time he's talking about like something's going to go wrong, he starts like head sort of rolls around and everything. He's like, oh no, here it goes, here comes the monster type thing. And even Erica mentioned that, like his head sort of rolled around like Exorcist style or something, which is just bizarre. Yeah, Ed, I'm calling your bluff on that one, and I think Little Miss would as well. Matthew Harris says I've clearly returned at an odd moment. Yeah, what did we say right when you walked in? I'd like to know. $11 billion for Central Park. That number is probably a little low, Richard. You've got to consider interest as well. 7 says, we're back to actual court question here as we wait for trial to start. Even if they don't get the weapon in, how is he not guilty? This trial seems like a waste of taxpayers' coin. I think they're going to get the weapon in, and I think CB was mentioning that as well. That there may be other ways they can get the weapon in. But that whole search of the truck, that still has not been ruled on yet, or really presented to be ruled on. We sort of danced around this, and everyone knows it happened, and everyone knows what we found in it, but the prosecution, defense, and the judge are sort of just dancing around the big elephant in the room, and maybe today we'll address that. Coal black squirrels look like itty bitty bears. I want to know what he's thinking right now so bad. Monica, you're going to have to wait for the book. I'm sure he'll release one unless he's prohibited from making any money, and then he won't. It is something since he nodded to his attorney and looked back at the families. Right, is he still thinking about them? Are they looking at him? I mean, was there eye contact? That will be interesting to know. Will Ortiz's instructions to collect his gun be enough grounds for introducing the gun, says C.B. Clark. I don't know, because they got that after the fact. They already had the gun. They already had conducted the search at that point. I believe they conducted the search while he was at the gas station before the truck got towed away. And the question is, was that search legal? And it's going to revolve around the abandonment of the vehicle, which has been broached moderately, but not completely. Outside St. Louis, our squirrels are gray. Ginger wants to meet the cell phone guy in the back. If somebody could hook her up, she is ready. She is ready to commit. So if somebody could run out to the courtroom and let him know that that Ginger is looking for love on the live stream. She thinks he's a little bit dreamy, apparently.
This report is back in session. The Honorable Judge Oscar Hill Jr. presiding.
Ready for the jury? Bring the jury in, please.
All right, the jury.
A Congress of turkeys? A proliferation of pickles? Oh man, those are great. I didn't know a Congress of turkeys. I think that's Congress are turkeys. Is that what you're saying, Wombat? Wombat Mommy? A skunk for a pet. They get them descented, and they're not bad, right? Yeah, I don't think he'll plead guilty. Adam, I think you're right on this one. He has nothing to lose. There's no death penalty for him, and he's looking at 4 life sentences. It's just his. There's a chance. There's a chance that one jury member would say not guilty, and if they can say that on all 4, that's all he needs. John Blake says the Whataburger was fantastic with the pickles. That is the best way to have them.
You may be seated. Good afternoon. And you may continue, Mr. Perez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Across.
Captain Calderon, I'm not sure exactly where I left off, but I hope I don't repeat myself too much. But isn't it where I'm on page 17?
Just coughed right into the mic.
Kind of like. Oh, we're still on disc 5. Page 17.
No, we were on 6. We were on 6. Don't go backwards. Don't go backwards,
Disc
sir.
6, I think, sir.
We're disc 5. Disc 5. I'm sorry. Disc 6.
Thank you. Thank you.
On page 17 on top. And then it starts with question. Why would she keep your retirement? Answer, because I want her to. Question, and this is you speaking, Captain Calderon. Because I want her to.
This sums it up right there.
You know what? I don't know, but I can find out. You know that. That's stuff that we can work on. That's what I was trying to get out earlier. If she needs help after this, answer, I want her to keep that seriously. And he's talking about the retirement. And then you say, and there's a way that you could help her, help us, cooperate, walk straight with us, help us out a little bit, count on us. Isn't it true that what you're doing is you're promising to help his wife get the retirement if he, in exchange, on the condition that he cooperate.
It's not conditional, no.
Okay.
I don't know what he ate, but him coughing into the mic is a little bit loud.
I think earlier they bounced back to the picture where it's you again talking. I'm trying to get you the stuff that you're asking for. I'm going to work on it. I'll get you the picture. Help us out. Again, conditional. If you help us out, I'll help you get the picture. Isn't it true that you're promising him any sort of inducement, coercement, in order for his cooperation?
It is not true.
Okay.
Okay.
A little bit further down on page 18, line 7. This is, again, you, Captain Calderon. JD. Come on, JD. Do you want me to find out about your, what is it? Unintelligible, but you're talking about the retirement. Or what was in your, look, I'll find out. I'll ask. I'll call. I'm not going to let that happen. She still has to go on, and so do you. She's going to need help. I guess that I can call and I can ask. I can find that out for you, JD. Look at me, please. Do you see that?
I do.
And what you, again, you're promising to help her get the retirement. Do you see that?
Not
Okay.
unconditional.
Now I'm on line 19 on page 18 again, and this is Ortiz speaking. This is why my wife, she can keep whatever little bit of money that we have, and I don't want her to waste money on legal fees and this unintelligible. And then you, Captain Calderon, answer, okay, if you help us out, Ortiz. That's as clear as daylight that's conditional. Isn't that true, Captain Calderon?
That's not my intention. That was not my intention.
Okay. What your intent is not the question. The question is, did it induce him? Did it coerce Mr. Ortiz? Did you overcome his free will to not want to cooperate by promising him things?
I'm not sure if they can
Okay.
complete this argument in the minds of the jury without putting Mr. Ortiz on the stand and asking him that. Did he feel coerced? Did you think they were promising you this? The further this goes, the more I think he might have to testify to get a chance at getting this argument made.
Okay. I'm on page 19, line 22.
No, we haven't even started with defense yet. We've
This
got
is you,
a
Captain
lot
Calderon.
more testimony to
You've
come in, I
served
think.
your country. You've continued serving your country through the U.S. Border Patrol. You're doing the right thing. Help us out right now. Help us do the right thing. Help yourself and do the right thing. And we need help and cooperate with this long weekend so that we can move forward on this. This is still you speaking. Just whatever you feel comfortable telling us. We'll go from there, but at least please help us out with something. Help us show the DA that you're cooperating with us. Again, it's if he cooperates, do you agree that then you're going to go tell the DA something? It's conditional.
I disagree.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have to pause this feed for 10 seconds to match up our audio. Otherwise, it'll
Now on line
be
19,
really funny.
on page 20, you, Captain Calderon, say, JD, do not stay like we are. Help your wife. Help us so that we can get past this. Again, in order to help his wife, you're asking him to help you.
That's not what I said.
So that's not what I said. But that's not what I meant. Okay, I'm going to pause this for just 1 second, and we're going to count together to like 5 or 6 because that's going to sync up my feeds a little bit. So when I show you the 2 streams at the same time, it will match up a little bit better. I think that might be it.
Now, by this point in time, you had seen him on the monitor crying and kind of breaking down, right?
I don't recall.
1 more second, 2 more seconds.
And you said that,
Sorry, we're trying to match everything up so that it will.
I'm not too sure on this occasion, but that is a technique that you all use, right? To break down individuals by icing them, letting them sweat, if you will.
No, I wouldn't call it that.
Well, is the delay a tactic that you all utilize?
Do some police, you're generalizing when you say you all, you're saying all police. Do I do that? I generally don't do that, not me.
Okay, we're synced up. That allows me to do this.
Now I'm on disc 7.
Oops, that didn't work. That allows me to do this, where we have 2 different angles. This is important because when we show the courtroom and the defendant or something, it brings it up and matches it up. So thanks for your patience in that. It gives us a little more insight into what's happening in the courtroom as we take the different camera angles. You said we were counting together. You lied to me. I counted in my head.
I'm on
Rowdy,
page 4,
right there.
line 14, and this is you, Captain Calderon. To put it in context, prior to that, you're talking about the 40 and the 9, the pistols.
Which page are we on?
I had a
Okay, I'm on disc 7.
I had a conversation over lunch
Page
about this.
4.
Got it, okay.
Should the
Okay.
police be able
And
to
I'm
lie?
going down to line
Or
12.
should they have to tell the
But I was
truth?
putting in context that earlier you're speaking with him about the 40 cal and the 9mm.
Okay.
But at some point you say, question by Captain Calderon, is there anything else that you want to tell us? He tells you, fucking no. Okay? Now, I would imagine that you didn't take that as I want to terminate the interview.
I did not take that.
Okay.
No.
So is that what you would require? I want to terminate the interview?
A
Depends on
You know,
the
intelligent
I'm asking,
response-
is that what you would require?
No,
Yes
I don't
or no?
require only that.
Okay.
If you would have said that, though, I would have stopped.
And you go on to say, thank you for what you're doing. Answer, all right.
Defense is trying to bring
Question,
that,
we
that
appreciate it a
argument
lot.
in, and
Answer,
there's a lot of evidence.
Question, this is you
I don't know.
speaking.
Matthew
And
Harris,
we'll
what do you
let
think?
them know that you're not being stubborn. So again, in exchange for his cooperation, you are going to put in a good word for him or something like that.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Big win for Matthew Harris today. Give him a big congratulations. Doubled the win for the client. Another happy customer, Matthew. Good job. Courts have ruled that the cops can lie. They lied to me in my interrogation too. I'm actually glad they did lie to me, because then I knew what they didn't know. So, but it was interesting to see them lie because
If I can now move to the search of the truck.
I'll
Now-
have to go longer into the story to tell you that, but
We
it was
know
very
that,
interesting to hear them lie,
troopers-
and I enjoyed listening to that.
See him at the stripes at around maybe 12:55, right? On the 15th, roughly.
Around there, I believe you're right, yes.
Okay, and we also know that the reports
Mangy Coyote,
indicate
I
that
found a bomb,
he's already at the station on Saunders
And
at
then I found the people who did
2:30
it.
in the morning.
and the police wondered
Around
if I
there.
was one of the people who
Okay.
did it, and I was not.
And
The defense is asking the prosecution for something, some photos, I think.
yeah.
Maureen, switching to TV, we'll say thanks for being here. Do enjoy the chat. Hopefully someone else will ask any question you have if you're switching to TV. I'm hearing the words pickup truck.
Are you talking about the first exhibit that one more, that first day? Oh, no.
I'm busy picking my practice lock here while we wait.
All right.
Practicing my lock picking skills. Okay, so we've had like a 10-second delay, and they apologize. They say sorry, Your Honor, but they made us sit through like 7 hours of nothing on video without an apology. Ortiz looks very worried. Why is the prosecutor standing up right now? It's not his turn. Mac, he did, at least that's what's alleged. He has not been found guilty yet, but after he confessed, he said not guilty, and so that triggers the trial. So the state has to prove each element of the charge. That's where we're at. His legs are sleepy, says Miss Chris. That's why he's standing. He just got back from lunch. He just walked in the room just a couple minutes ago. I like seeing the tire, the Goodyear tire. Yeah, when they rolled that in, that was a good moment. We needed thematic music to accompany the rolling in of the tire. But let's see if they encourage the jury to roll it with them to the deliberation room and maybe match up the tire marks with the big paper prints. Monica, they keep muting the sound and turning it back on, because this is they're not allowed to air deliberations within, between the defense attorneys and between the prosecution, but when they're talking to each other, there is no exclusion about that. So first they turned it off because they had some whispering, but then they turned it back on because they were talking.
Your next one is 4.
Between each other,
Yes.
between the two tables. They are very unorganized. That's why the other one quit the other day. He said this prosecution, the public defenders, or the attorney's office is disorganized and just a complete wreck. CG says, I missed the tire rolling episode. What was the tire for? Well, the tire is the tire off the pickup truck, off the vehicle that... I guess the one thing it has in common is each one of the victims, even the one who survived, was at one point in that vehicle. It had some evidence in the vehicle as well. It's the one that Ortiz had driven from the murder scene straight to the gas
I'm going to
station.
show you what's been admitted into evidence already as defendant's exhibit.
We have
number
tire
1.
prints at a couple of the murder scenes.
Inventory form,
So
correct?
the tire
I've
is
seen
to
this
match
one,
up for that.
Okay, so just so I'll keep it here. And then I have defendant's exhibit 4, 5, 6, and 7. Can you just tell me generally what those are?
DB was
White
more
Dodge
organized
pickup.
because he had boxes.
White Dodge pickup. Mr. Ortiz's pickup.
Okay, and that's out at the Stripes, right?
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay. And does it accurately reflect the way it was back then?
What wasn't there?
Okay. I'd like to offer them into evidence.
Why? The prosecution should object because he can't authenticate. He's like, are these accurate? He says, I don't know.
No objections. What are the exhibit numbers, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Defense exhibits 4, 5, 6, and 7 are admitted into evidence.
Okay. Now, if you review your notes, I just want to confirm that the approximate time that Ortiz was at the substation, or no, actually arrested, was around 2:30.
Around there, yes,
At the garage, right?
correct.
Okay. And then it took whatever minutes to get to the station on Saunders.
Hey, Mac, I'm going to hide
Correct.
your message.
Okay.
Um,
And then we had
but
previously
I
talked
hear your
about
sentiment.
the inventory form, the defendant's exhibit number 1. And we can see that it's already been received by Ricardo Garcia at 2:17 a.m., right?
Here's what he's getting at.
Correct. I
The
can't
search
verify
happened
that, but that's correct.
before they had
that's
permission.
what it
That's
says.
what it
right?
says,
Okay,
yes.
you don't have any reason to doubt that, do you?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know the DPS forms or where they get their times from.
Okay, but what that seems to indicate, that before Ortiz was arrested at 2:30 in the morning in the garage, this truck was already at the substation.
That's what that would indicate if the time's correct.
Okay, and so therefore we know that before 2:30, if it's already at 2:17, the truck, I'm talking about the white Dodge, if it's already at the substation by 2:17, then prior to 2:17, which obviously means prior to 2:30, Mr. Ortiz being arrested, we have photos, which is 4, 5,
Yes.
6, and 7,
Yes, sir.
where this truck is opened up
Okay.
and photos are being taken of it, right?
Okay.
I mean, do you agree with that?
I agree with what you said, with the exception of the time, because I don't know how that time's populated. I don't know if that's manually populated or computer populated, so I don't know. I can't verify that time, but yes, everything else you said is correct.
Okay, now, very briefly, at the time that this truck is being searched out at the Stripes,
I'm
based,
gonna object, that's a mischaracterization of the evidence. He's putting in at the time that the truck is being searched. That hasn't even been established. It's an improper question. He's injecting evidence. We see that the truck was photographed. It wasn't searched.
Rephrase the question.
well, at the time, do you know if law enforcement opened this truck or some homeless guy came and opened it up and took photos, or do you think it's law enforcement?
He wasn't there.
I'm gonna object to speculation. He hasn't even established that, Calderon already testified that he was not there. He's the wrong witness to be asking these questions to.
Well, the question was, do you think? So rephrase your question. Calls for speculation. Do you think?
Okay.
Sustained.
Well, let me ask you this. Here, on the driver's side door, do you see a firearm? On the door well? The butt of a firearm?
Yes.
Okay, and based on your investigation, that's the firearm that Ugarte recovered later at the Saunders, correct?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay. But regardless, it had already been discovered by 2:17, according to this records, before even Mr. Ortiz was arrested.
Objection, speculation. He can't answer, or assuming facts not in evidence, whether the gun had been discovered. It's a photograph of a gun. It doesn't mean it had been
I
discovered.
didn't hear a question. It was just more of a statement. So sustained at this time.
Well,
Prosecutor's standing up. I think
in,
he's nervous.
Defendant's exhibit number 1. Can you tell me what the title of defendant's exhibit number 1 is?
Texas Department of Public Safety Property Inventory.
Okay, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what an inventory search is?
What an inventory search is?
Yes.
When you search a vehicle before you remove it from where it is.
Okay, and the purpose of an inventory, if you arrest an individual and you're gonna seize the vehicle from where it's at a location, and you're gonna take it to the pound or whatever to have it impounded. Okay. The purpose of an inventory is to document the property that it's in there, so that it goes from point A, wherever it was, to point B, that you can say, when it first left here, there was a briefcase. I'm not talking about this case, I'm just speaking hypothetically. There was a briefcase here, there was a, Cheetos over there, whatever you want to document, so that when it gets over
Cheetos.
there, you know that the stuff that was here is still over there and no one stole it on the way. Is that correct?
That's what our forms reflect. The sheriff's office forms are designed the way you're saying, yes.
Okay, but the concept is to document the property that is there, and then make sure it's still over there when it gets to the pound.
I don't disagree with what you're
Okay,
saying.
and then in this defendant's exhibit number 1, and it says it twice, can you read this line right here?
Vehicle seized pending criminal investigation, no inventory conducted, released to Webb County Lieutenant Ricardo Garcia.
Okay, and then at the very bottom again, what does it say?
Vehicle seized pending criminal investigation and stopped at the Webb County Sheriff's Office substation at 7209 East Saunders, Laredo. No inventory conducted, and it has a reference number and some sort of case number.
Okay, so according to this document, no inventory was performed on this truck.
According to that trooper and document, yes, correct.
And yet we have photos of the truck all opened up, right? I mean, you saw them.
I saw the photos,
Okay,
yes.
and I'll give you this. This is not a Webb County Sheriff's form, right?
You're correct, yes.
And so EJ Salinas would be the one more appropriate to answer to this?
I'm not familiar with their electronic forms. With ours, I am, not theirs.
Okay.
I've seen them, but I'm not familiar with them.
Yes, sir. Now, at some point, the truck does make it out to the substation, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was it there when you got there?
I don't recall if it got there as I was getting there, right before, right after, but it was around the same time frame, give or take.
And you didn't write a report about the time that you saw the truck or that it arrived, so that you can't refresh your memory about the arrival or
I
the
didn't
seizure
search.
of this truck.
I didn't search it. That was Ranger Salinas' task.
No, but right now when I'm asking you questions about what time did the truck get there,
Correct.
you'd agree with me that had you written a report about that, you could look at it and refresh your memory and tell me, yes, at 2:17 it got there.
If I
could do
was
that.
if I was involved in that task, yes. If I wasn't, then I wouldn't have generated that on a report.
Well, are you the lead investigator or are you not, Mr.
For the sheriff's
Calderon?
office, I was the lead investigator for
Okay.
the sheriff's office.
And this facility where this truck arrived, it's a Webb County Sheriff's Office facility,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Did you order the truck to be seized?
No.
Okay. Who else could have ordered it to be seized?
The ranger was working with us, so I'm sure the ranger was the one who coordinated the issues with the truck.
And by the ranger, you mean Texas Ranger E.J. Salinas?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Now, you didn't order it, the white Dodge Ram to be seized. Did you order it to be searched?
No.
Okay. Do you know who ordered that it be searched?
Ranger Salinas, sir.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out
Okay.
because
We
I
ran
haven't
a
seen- Sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we ran a co-investigation. He asked our employees to do stuff too, and my employees were under direction that if he needed something done, it get done. So if he would have asked them to do something, go with me here, go with me there, they would have done it. So
And do you know who ultimately searched the white Ram Dodge?
off the top of my head, no.
Okay. And again, had you written, because if I were to tell
Reports
you,
were written.
I'm sorry?
Reports were written, so
No, but from you, did you write a report about who ordered the truck to be searched?
This
And
this
who
line of question
searched
about the report.
I didn't write a report for something I didn't do.
Okay. Would it surprise you that one of your employees of the Webb County Sheriff's Office is the one that searched the truck?
No, it wouldn't.
Okay. And ultimately, we know that I believe it was Ugarte who searched the truck, correct?
Okay.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
What do you guys think of this? This whole you didn't write a report thing. He wasn't involved in it. It was a joint investigation. Is that a weak argument on the side of the part of the defense, or does that hold any weight with you guys?
May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Yes. I'm going to show you what's been marked Defendant's Exhibit number 8 for identification purposes at this time. Do you recognize that form?
Yes, sir.
And what is that form, just generally speaking?
It's like a running list, a roster, a log.
Okay. And do you know who, does it say who the author of that form is on that?
It's probably his guy.
No,
Okay.
I don't see it at least.
And this evidence collection log, is it a form that you're familiar with? Not this one, but just the form itself.
Yes,
Is that a form that the Webb County Sheriff's Office uses?
from time to time. It's not the computerized one that you would see, for example, like, I'm sure you have our computerized ones,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's something you handwrite before you type it into the system.
Okay. And if I were just to ask you generally, here where it reflects the 1HK 40 caliber, can you tell me the time that it was logged?
I bet the answer is no.
354,
And would that be on 9/15 of 18?
that's what it says here.
Okay. If I may. Thank you.
Okay, so there is a log time on the gun. I guess that's a good thing.
So by 354, we know that Ugarte is already searching the truck on someone's orders, correct?
Correct.
And in the video, you also enter the interrogation room with some pieces of evidence, some bags of evidence. Do you recall?
I recall they brought me some stuff.
Can
yes.
you refresh my memory and tell me what you walked in with?
No, I'd have to, if you show me what it was, but yes, I do remember walking in with the stuff.
Well, if I were to tell you that you were showing them, you're showing syringes
Okay, yes,
and the purses.
okay, correct.
Okay. And you'd agree with me that those are from the white Dodge Ram.
You're correct.
Okay. So prior to Mr. Ortiz making any incriminating statements,
Granny Gogo, all the victims
you
were
already
prostitutes.
possessed some of the evidence from the
The
white
one that got
Dodge
away
Ram.
was actually number 3, not number 5.
And based on your investigation, did the Webb County Sheriff's Office obtain a search warrant for the white Dodge Ram?
Eventually, but not for that.
Correct. Eventually,
For something.
days later, it was for all the electronics.
Correct.
In the,
You're correct, sir.
You know, like the GPS and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
But you can also have a search warrant to search for items within the cab, let's say.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
But you don't need one always.
And a search warrant for those items was never obtained by the Webb County Sheriff's Office, correct?
You're correct.
And neither was it by the Texas Rangers. Is that correct?
You're correct.
Bennett, that's what they're
Yet
pushing
you
for
are
right
in
here.
possession of items from that truck, including this big tire right here, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
The tire. The tire got some time. That's awesome. This big tire. So he's saying it was an illegal search and seizure, but the police are saying that the truck was abandoned as Mr. Ortiz ignored officers' orders and fled from them after identifying that was his vehicle. They're saying he abandoned that truck and they searched it requisite to that. KQD, I think the truck was searched without a warrant, and the evidence which has not been introduced will not be admitted and will depend on Erica's testimony and Ortiz's confession. I think they're going to get the
The
evidence
form
in,
that
actually.
I showed you,
I think the judge will say that it's okay.
may I approach the witness again, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Just briefly. Now, I'm showing you what's been marked only for identification purposes on defendant's exhibit number 8. Can you tell on the times that throughout the day it's kind of being searched, items are being collected from the Dodge
Your
Ram?
Honor, this document hasn't been introduced into evidence. He's testifying from it. I don't even know what he's looking at.
Granny Gogo, yes, we've had a full confession played, painstakingly, all 7 discs.
This was not prepared by him, Your Honor. It's hearsay. This is not the proper witness to be answering questions from this document. It's not the right witness. It's premature at this point.
I think the defense knows they'll get better answers if they ask this witness these questions than if they ask the right witness.
Go, you want to ask some more predicate questions to the witness before you offer it?
No, Your Honor, that's who got this form. I'm aware of that. I think in Lincoln, I think.
Well, sustained at this time.
Okay. Well,
Objection sustained.
without showing you this form,
Can you tell me
and
what's
again,
on?
do you have any reports that you made that would reflect who searched the truck and when and the like?
Do I have one? No.
Did you prepare a report, like a summary, where you would say, on this date, the sergeant who got there, or whatever his rank is, searched the pickup and recovered this, from that you would have written yourself?
No.
Okay.
Babe Cakes, we haven't heard the prosecution articulate the actual reasoning behind the search of the truck, other than they say it was abandoned as Mr. Ortiz committed a crime and fled an arrest, evaded arrest, which he's not being charged for. It's one of the minor crimes he committed in the course of this, allegedly, that have not been included on the docket sheet.
When you entered the room, the interrogation room, and you had those items, where did you get those items?
From the room across the interview room.
From the break room where the
Okay,
donuts
who
were.
directed you to them?
Who directed me to the room?
I mean, how did you know that a bag with syringes, for example,
Oh, they brought them to me.
who brought them to you?
It would have been Nenke Ugarte.
But you don't remember because there's no report.
I was interviewing Mr. Ortiz at the time.
But isn't it common for officers to write notes in handwriting, and then you go back and you type in and you make a summary, a report?
Would you like an explanation, or yes or no?
I'm just asking you, is it common or not?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Would you like an explanation? Or would you like an incomplete answer? I like the way he handles that.
Do you know from personal knowledge where the search of the white Dodge Ram ultimately occurred?
Substation?
Okay. And the substation that we're speaking of, and where was it parked within the substation? On the curb, within an enclosed area? You know.
Within a, not really an enclosed area, but within a limited access area.
Okay. I imagine like a sally port, you know, to be
More
protected
like
from
a
the elements and the like?
Carport, more like it, but
Okay.
yes.
And that is Webb County Sheriff's Office property, correct?
Correct.
And is it a secure area?
Define secure.
Well, could I walk in and grab something from the white Dodge Ram?
From the REM,
Yeah, from the Ram, or any vehicle that you all put in an impound.
I would say no, but if you tried, I would say anyone can.
Well, I might get arrested.
Yeah, well, that's. And if you trespass back there and go back there,
I mean,
sure
but you know
could.
what I mean. It's a secure area for law enforcement only.
Yes, it's
Okay.
restricted to law enforcement.
And so at that point, the truck's not going anywhere the minute it gets there.
Okay,
Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. So nothing prevented you from going and getting a search warrant for it.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Okay. And also the keys. Where did the keys to the truck initially come from?
I don't know. I know I received them at the substation while I was inside. I received them from one of the officers, and I gave them to either Ugarte or Nenke, and they put them in their office. I do know that, but I don't know where they came from. I'm assuming the record driver, but that's an assumption.
Okay. And so just generally speaking, the chain as far as the keys, who got them from where, and where did they go from there, and to whom they went? You yourself right now don't know that chain, other than you got them from somebody and you gave them to Ugarte or Nenke even? Or do you know who you gave them to?
I received them from the deputies there, or after the record dropped it off. They gave me the key. I was inside, and I gave it to Nenke or Ugarte. I don't remember which one of them, but I gave it to one of them, and they put it in their office.
Okay. And then when you got those items from that room that you say, do you remember who gave them to you? Those items from the white Dodge Ram that you
No.
took into the interrogation room?
I don't.
Who led you to them?
I believe Ranger Salinas told me what was there, and that's where I went out to check it out in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not supposed to hear them talk to each other. That's why the audio level just dropped there.
Tell me if I'm generally correct, when evidence is collected by a law enforcement officer, and you're familiar with the phrase chain of custody.
Correct.
Okay. So we're trying to establish the phrase, the legal phrase for the admission of evidence and collection of evidence is it was taken into possession by person one. Person one either put it here or gave it to person two. Person three came and picked it up and took it to person four at the lab. And we're trying to establish so that we establish a direct chain of everyone that had it, right? Is that proper police procedure?
You're correct.
Okay. Now, we know that either Ugarte or Nenke, because those are the only two people that are in the property room that could search the truck, right?
That would have been assigned that duty, yes.
And you previously stated that E.J. Salinas ordered the search of the truck on that day without a search warrant.
He
You know
was
that?
involved in the search.
Yes, sir. Now, Ugarte is responsible for the property, and is there a property room physically that Ugarte would grab this item from the truck and take it to the property room so it'd be secure?
We have a property room.
Okay, but would that be proper police procedure? He collects it because there's we know there's an evidence log collection, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he dates the time that he got it, and the chain would say, "I now put it in the property room." Correct?
Normally, when you're done with a property, when you're done inspecting it or looking at it, you go put it away, yes.
Okay, do you know if by the time you grabbed those pieces of evidence that you had in the interrogation room, did Ugarte already log him into the property room?
I wouldn't be able to answer that.
I would think no. They were just in Ziploc bags. It seemed like they had just come from the truck.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you even know who placed them on that table that you say E.J. Salinas directed you to in that room?
I don't know. I'm assuming it would have been Nenke or Ugarte once again.
No, but you're assuming, right?
Correct. So no.
Okay.
It could have been the ranger for all I know.
Sure. So now we have a chain that we have Ugarte or Nenke, we're not sure who, and then we don't know how it got into the room, either Ugarte or Nenke, or the ranger, and then to you. And then what did you do with them when you left?
I gave him back to the property techs.
Well, you say you didn't give him back to a property tech because you didn't get him from a property tech. You see what I'm saying?
I gave him to the property techs.
Okay. Who is the property tech?
Nenke or Ugarte, whoever was there.
Okay.
I'm not saying, I don't think he's trying to say it was planted. I'm just saying they didn't follow the proper chain of custody with logging it in first. It's very possible that he brought this evidence in to him before it was entered in and logged. And so it was shown to the defendant in the interrogation before the evidence had been properly logged in the evidence room. I think that's what he's trying to get at, that they didn't follow proper procedure, which does introduce doubt that if procedure wasn't followed properly, how can we verify that nothing was changed, that nothing was taken out, that nothing was added? I think he is grasping a little bit here, but he might have something. He might get a hold. And it's possible that some evidence from this search, specifically from the truck, may be excluded. And that includes the firearm that was used. It just depends how this goes. He has to get certain answers or not get certain answers to establish enough doubt that the judge will say, right, this wasn't done properly, and we're going to prevent that from coming in. Because the judge is the one that determines if evidence is allowed to be brought into the court. The jury is the trier of the facts, right? The evidence that's set out before them, that's how they judge the case, and they can determine what evidence that they place value on. But whether or not the evidence comes into court, that's in the judge's purview. This is why you get a lawyer, by the way. This is a lot. This is some pretty heavy stuff to try to do on your own as DB.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, let's get some clarification on a lot of this. They should This should take a little bit because there's a lot of things that that he was cut off from answering that the prosecution probably wants him to clarify.
Calderon, under the questioning of Mr. Perez, you were explaining, and please explain to the jury what your format is in referencing the Texas Rangers report.
Correct. On my report from our records management, I labeled it as a supplementary report to the Texas Ranger report. I wasn't the original documentarian for the investigation. We agreed that that would be Ranger Salinas. So even though all of our evidence tags and everyone did their stuff, that gets added to the records management system. I did my supplement, but the Ranger was a main documentarian for the investigation.
Okay, that's a big word I haven't heard before, documentarian. What do
He
you mean? What do
documents-
you explain that to them?
Documents.
Is it a word?
Much like Mr. Perez was saying, we went here this day, we went there that day, and I'm pretty sure if you read the report, I'll be in there. Calderon and Salinas this, Calderon and Salinas that.
So your two or three page report as co-investigator in this case makes reference to the documentarian's report. In this case, that role belonged to E.J. Salinas.
You're correct, sir.
Okay, if I may approach. I'm going to show you what I marked as states. Exhibits 145, 146, and 147. Have you seen these before?
Yes, I have.
Where have you seen them?
Yes, I have.
Where have you seen them at?
I have a copy of myself, and I've seen them with the Ranger, and I've seen them at your office.
Okay.
Those are some big reports. Piles of binders.
All the details of the reports are in these binders,
Correct.
and they coincide with your reports.
Correct.
Okay.
What did you label those, Mr. Ortiz?
Just for identification, 145, 146, and 147.
You already had those.
This is the
Exhibits
book
labeled.
version of the interrogation. The
You have
3-volume
those
set.
numbers already?
Yes, sir.
It
145.
goes with the 12-disc interrogation set.
Yes, that was an envelope that had the 3 casings, and then 146 has not been admitted but was offered. It was an ME report, and 147 I think might have been also.
So we're at.
So 150 is the last one that's been admitted, correct? So you want to change those numbers?
We'll relabel them again, Your Honor, for identification purposes.
Once again, we are labeling items in court that maybe should have been labeled earlier, but it's just 3, so it shouldn't take too long. Yes, it's a word. My daughter wants to be a documentarian. Does it pay well, Mangy?
So for a correction on the record, what I showed you now labeled 151, 152, and 153 are the Texas Department of Public Safety investigation reports in this case, correct?
You're correct, sir.
And they encompass what you did in this case as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And for the record also, they're not being offered.
They're not being offered. I just want them to identify them.
Just to
because they had
be clear
asked
on the
that
record.
question.
Thank you.
Okay. And for the record, Mr. Bettis and Fuchs do have those complete reports were tendered to them, Your Honor. So I want to break up your questions into the same format that Mr. Bettis was asking you. First, we're going to talk about the voluntariness issue that he asked you about, right? So I want to direct your attention to disc
That's not a file. This is a file.
disc 1, page 70.
Little Crocodile Dundee spin on that quote, but it was pretty good.
Okay, sir.
On line 20, if you could read what it says there out loud.
I asked a question, and the response is, I don't recall anything. To tell you the truth, I don't remember being there.
And that was regarding the Murphys,
Correct.
being at the Murphys, right? On disc 1, page 76, line 12, you ask him, it wasn't the first time that you met her, it wasn't the first time that you talked to her, because I guess this time the thing is a little bit different. What happened? What was his response?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't even know I was in Arkansas, so that's news to me right there.
That he didn't know he was on Arkansas Street. That's what he told you.
Correct.
I wonder if it was locked. Do they have to pop the lock to get in?
We go to disc 2, page 3. On line 14, you ask him, okay, so as far as buying the beer at Arkansas, and you ask him, and you bought 3, you said, and that's not the problem, the 3 tallies that were there, okay? And what's his response?
Line 15.
Line 15.
So as far as buying beer at Arkansas, it is, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
And you go to page 4 below that. So I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is, I want to know what happened today about that.
Little Miss,
You keep
the
telling
judge
me
has not
that we
ruled on
should
this
know
yet.
something, and we already know
It hasn't come
that
to a
you're
head.
lying.
It might be here.
You know why you're here. You know why you're here, and we'll get to that. But before that, what happened with the young lady earlier?
Your Honor, if I may. We object that what the prosecutor is doing right now is not rebuttal. It's another direct. It's repetitive. The best evidence is already in, which is the video. And he had the opportunity on direct to ask from the transcript as far as what was going to be presented in the video. And so this is repetitive, and it's not rebuttal to my cross. To have him repeat only things that do not go to anything is not proper rebuttal right now, Your Honor.
He opened the door when he asked him if there was no reason to believe if his medical condition, and he opened the door regarding blackouts, his memory. This goes to state of mind. The court would allow me to explore. This will obviously these lines of questioning early in the interview. Later on in the same interview, it's developed that these statements go to the fact that he did in fact.
Let me make a ruling. I'll overrule the objection at this time. I'll allow a little leeway in that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
So on page 4, line 22.
So I'm going to
what
turn
does
it
he
down
state?
just a tiny bit
I
here.
have no idea what young lady you're talking about.
He's still in the denial things. What we learned from Matthew Harris previously, and he's in the room, so he can correct me if I'm wrong, is that in Texas on this rebuttal, on direct you can ask your witness anything you want. On cross you can ask anything, basically anything you want that was brought up on direct, and then on the redirect. You can go back and forth between prosecution and defense, questioning the same witness as many times as you need to, as long as you stay within the scope of that discussion and the doors that are open and things like that. So this is second to direct,
Response is no. The only Erica I know
which
is
is
Erica
should be
Castro,
focused on the rebuttal
and she's from high
of
school.
the first cross.
What high school
Did I say
is
that
the
right,
answer?
Matthew?
Gladys Porter High School.
Let's go to page 11. Line 10.
Little Miss, I think the judge actually has to rule on it. It's sort of like the fair use
You
clause.
ask him, when was the last time that you were ever over
It
there
only
on
can be
the toll
determined
road?
in each case
And
before
you're
a
referring
judge.
to toll road 255,
So the judge has to
correct?
weigh the options
Correct.
and weigh the evidence and
what
then
is
make a
his
ruling.
response on line 16?
Matthew Harris, in my opinion, he says,
Page 11.
Mr. Ortiz hadn't abandoned the vehicle and
Line
the police should have
16.
obtained a warrant before searching. There were no
I
exigent,
haven't been on the
exigent
toll road since
circumstances
probably when I was in the targeted
necessitating
enforcement
a
unit.
warrantless search.
I had to fucking go out. I believe it's the Jaime Toll Road.
Then let's go to page 18.
I get some ASMR sound effects in the background here as I'm refilling my mug.
say.
And with that,
or
you're
let
all
me ask
welcome to
you,
take a
during
bathroom
your
break
interview
if you need to.
his education came up. Juan David Ortiz, if you know, and if he told you what his bachelor's degree is in what area?
Criminal justice, I believe.
Correct. So he has a bachelor's in criminal justice. On line 19, on page 19, it starts on page 18 with you saying, so if there's somebody out there saying, I know him and everything, on 21 answer, he laughs. 22, you say no. And he says, look at this right now. Okay, well, some of the people that we've talked to, civilians, they don't necessarily lie for you.
I'm getting
What's
smarter,
his
Matthew.
response on line 4?
Well, I have no idea what you guys are talking about right now.
If we're going to be here
On
reading
line 21,
every single time he
you
lied
say
and
very
said, I
well,
have no
and
idea,
the one tonight,
we're going to be here all day.
referring to Erica.
That I don't know jack shit about it. Right now, you guys are freaking me out about this stuff.
On page 21, when asked, so you know she hesitantly went with you. She went in the truck with you, and you also did drugs. You all went by Arkansas. And on line 20, what is the answer?
Where? Question mark. Where did this person jump in my truck?
And on page 24, you ask him, she took them. She said that you all sat down, went to the backyard, and had a smoke. She was feeling kind of funny. She told us that she was feeling funny because of the way that you were acting. And his answer on line 11?
What the fuck? Question mark.
He didn't say
Page
question mark.
26. Starts on page 25, line 22. You say, so, you see, the bottom line, I think that pretty much, that was part of your reactions today, but she'd noticed that you weren't yourself. Probably she noticed because she said that you picked her up enough times to know that you were cool. She actually said you were a little amiss on your own, but that she was cool with that. Yeah, a little bit. And on line 26, page 26, line 9, what's his response?
I have no idea who you guys are talking about.
On page 32,
There's your poll. Ask and you shall
and it
receive.
starts on 31 when you say you line 16, you were getting irritated, and that's when she was saying that he wasn't himself. He wasn't the person who picked me up the first few times, the person who had picked me up before. You started shrugging your shoulders before. His response?
When have I picked her up? Question mark.
The
And you
jury
say
is here.
on San Bernardo.
They haven't ruled on the evidence from the truck yet.
And
The
his
gun,
response?
the purses. We've talked about it. We
And
know
you
it's
say
there,
when?
but they haven't introduced it yet.
And his response?
At least not all of it.
Line 1, page 32.
Uh-huh.
And Agent Salinas says more than 5 or less than 6 times. And what's his response?
Haha. I would have remembered that shit. There's no way in hell I'd pick up someone 5 times and not remember.
Okay, so
Right, and in that case,
all
if
of
the jury's
those
heard
questions,
of that, they'll be told to
and
disregard
they're
it.
riddled all through the discs, through the entire interview. On page 56, disc 6, on top of page 56,
Which disc? I'm sorry.
we're still on
All of them.
disc. I'm sorry, disc 2. Looking at it backwards. Disc 2. We're still at the beginning of the interview. Disc 2.
Poll results
Page
are
55.
split. 1/3 say not a legal
Question.
search.
Line 10. Why at the gas station on San Bernardo if you live?
I don't know.
Question. Page 56, line 1. I'm telling you where you were. His response?
I have no idea.
Now we know that he would literally just driven back from murdering the last suspect and stopped at the gas station to use the bathroom.
What did all those questions have in common, Captain Calderon?
They were all lies.
Okay, and what was the subject matter of all those questions?
His whereabouts earlier that day, and where he was, who he was with,
And how do you know they were all lies?
because he told us otherwise.
And when did he tell you otherwise?
Later on in the later on in the interview.
And we've all been here for the past week, and we all have heard and seen the video, and it's in disc 6 and 7, where he himself reveals that there were never any blackouts. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And that everything he told you regarding the facts and circumstances surrounding the crime were all lies.
Correct.
Tried to get that objection really fast, but
Did he have any trouble recalling normal facts, normal circumstances that did not involve criminal activity? Or, okay, I'll rephrase.
Rephrase.
Did he? Were there any areas? Were there any areas that he did not have trouble with memory recollection?
Going to Pizza Hut, mowing his lawn, being at the house, stuff like that.
Just mundane stuff he
killing
remembered.
people.
Mundane things he remembered.
What about medical appointments?
Remembered the 40 medical appointments.
What about medications?
Remembered his medications, yes, sir.
And who brought up blackouts?
Ranger Salinas,
At the very beginning, correct?
correct.
What about the work schedule? Did he have any trouble with memory recollection of his work schedule?
He did not.
He knew the days he was on, the days he was off. Explain to the jury.
But he told us that he worked the day before Labor Day and the day after, and that he was home on certain days.
Suzanne,
With
it was-
regard
it's a
to-
different time, different gas station.
Let's move into another area
Same
now
day, but
regarding
later.
This voluntariness or this inducement, and we've covered
Same
this.
night, I should say.
It was covered by Mr. Perez. Again, did either you or EJ Salinas, in your presence, offer him any dismissals if he told you or admitted?
I'm going to object to relevance, Your Honor. The law doesn't talk about dismissals or anything. It talks about promises, inducement, coercion. It doesn't have to be anything specific. So that question in particular about did you offer him dismissals is irrelevant.
Well, no, I disagree with him, Your Honor. He opened the
Hey,
door.
Ferry,
He
I
gave
wanna-
many examples.
I want to talk about
of,
this.
and going to great lengths to explain and question.
Well, Your Honor,
if I can
Okay,
finish.
sidebar,
On
sidebar.
the-
He would approach the bench and not have arguments in front of the jury during the trial.
He asked about inducements. I'm
Rephrase the
not
question.
arguing. Okay.
Rephrase the question, please.
Okay.
Approach the bench and not have arguments in front of the jury during the trial. I like that. Love that accent.
Did you make any promises
Ferry, I want to get to this point.
or leniency if
when we have a
he
minute.
would admit to any crime?
About
Absolutely
the handbags.
Did Mr. EJ Salinas, Texas Ranger, make any promises for leniency?
Again, Your Honor, that's not a requirement under the law with regards to voluntariness. It can be any inducement, any coercion, anything that would overcome an individual's free will.
At this time.
I'm sorry?
Sustained. To answer the previous question.
Were there
Ooh, that's
either
interesting.
you or EJ Salinas? And,
Sustain the objection.
let me back up a little bit. What is your intent or your approach? You guys said you all met and came up with a
The
plan to
threshold
go
for
in.
coercion is lower than I thought.
What is one of the goals that you want to do when you walk in with a suspect?
Make him feel at ease, make him comfortable.
To make them comfortable. And what is that called? Establishing what?
Rapport.
So you're establishing rapport with him.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And ultimately, Captain, what are you seeking from any suspect that you question?
The truth.
Cooperation,
Okay, we're seeking cooperation. What else are you looking for?
the truth.
The truth. We're looking for the truth.
Yes, sir.
And in your training and experience, was Juan David Ortiz telling you the truth?
Not in the beginning,
How did you know that he was not telling you the truth?
because he told us the truth later on.
Okay. But at that time, when you start interviewing him and he starts giving you responses, what are you armed with? What do you have? And when you're testing his credibility, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you possess in order to check his veracity on the responses he's giving you.
We knew he had been with Erica, and we knew the situation with Erica, and he claimed not to know who Erica was, and we knew that wasn't true.
Exactly. And how did you know all of this about Erica?
Because we interviewed her, we debriefed her, and she gave us information.
Because you had Erica.
We had Erica there at the station, yes.
And the facts that she gave you, he lied about.
Correct.
Were there any inducements that you or Mr. E.J. Salinas gave to Juan David Ortiz?
No.
Were there any guarantees that you gave to Juan David Ortiz?
There were no guarantees.
He can't stand up unless he's approaching
Now,
the witness. The rules
Did
are he
you
has to be
coerce
seated.
Juan David Ortiz?
Absolutely not.
Did you threaten Juan David Ortiz?
At no time.
Did you intimidate Juan David Ortiz?
No, sir.
Did you yell at him and make him go deaf?
Did you pressure Juan David Ortiz?
No, sir.
Did you give him water?
Yes, I did.
Did you give him bathroom breaks?
Yes, I did.
How many bathroom breaks did we see here over the past 10 hours of video we've seen?
A few. 3, maybe 3 plus.
Did you feed Juan David Ortiz?
I did.
At any time, did Juan David Ortiz explicitly ask you for an attorney?
He did not.
And this, at this time, what is your understanding on what his employment is?
At that time, he's employed by the United States Border Patrol.
He is a law enforcement officer.
Correct.
He even tells you about operations that he's worked, correct?
Correct.
Arrests that he's made, correct?
Correct.
Chases that he's been on.
We're gonna object to leading.
Tell us then. Tell us what he tells you regarding his law enforcement activities. Tell the jury.
Well, he talked about the Stone Garden unit. Stone Garden's a grant, and how he would tell him about the different crack houses and that he would take down loads in different places. And the last time he was somewhere was when he worked for the Targeted Enforcement Unit. So he talked about his Border Patrol background, his police background.
Correct. So he should be familiar with his Miranda rights, correct?
I would think so, yes.
And his constitutional rights, correct?
Yes, sir.
Let's move into
Especially because
the
he's
vehicle.
sworn an oath to defend them, right?
Let's go back to the beginning. At what time is he spotted at the Stripes? That night after the bolo.
Around 12:57, 1 a.m.,
Okay.
more or less.
And who is he? Who does he make contact with?
2 Texas DPS troopers.
2 uniformed officers.
Correct.
And you've seen their body cam video, correct?
Correct.
So one
That
of them-
identified themselves
Correct.
and told them and gave them specific orders, correct?
Yes, sir.
What did he do at that time?
He ran.
He ran from who?
He ran from the police.
Okay. And what about his vehicle?
He left it behind.
And what is that called?
Abandonment.
I'm gonna object. That's a legal conclusion. It's a legal principle, and this officer is not qualified to.
No, it's not. It's a fact question.
Just rephrase the question. I know what you asked.
I said, what do you call it when you leave a vehicle behind? That's my question.
What is it called? Now
What-
you're asking it differently. Go ahead. Ask it the way you just asked it.
What is it called when you run?
Rephrase it.
Okay. What happened when? What if anything happened when the law enforcement officers confronted Juan David Ortiz in front of the Stripes?
He abandoned his vehicle and he ran toward the Ava Hotel where he hid until he was captured.
Okay.
That's important from the state's perspective. If he abandoned
Did
the vehicle,
he ever come
I
back to
believe
his
they
vehicle?
have
No, sir.
more grounds to
In
search
fact,
it.
he was arrested at the Ava Hotel
Correct.
and running away from the police officers. In that instance, what resulted from that?
He was apprehended. He was arrested for that.
And what type of offense is that in the state of Texas?
Evading arrest.
Evading arrest. So when he disobeyed the officers and ran away from them and from his vehicle, he was evading arrest, correct?
Yes, sir.
So he's committing a crime.
The vehicle is obviously found before Ortiz, correct? The vehicle was found before Ortiz.
Correct. He was
Right.
inside the gas station.
And based on the timeline that that Mr. Pettis went over with you, he showed you some photos that were taken of the exterior or with the doors open.
Yes, sir.
Explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what in your line of work, what type of photos were those?
Photo like
Object, Your Honor, the state objected that he had lacked personal knowledge. He said he wasn't there, so he lacks personal
Good
knowledge to answer
objection.
that question.
Sustained.
Well, he introduced where are the photos you
No, I think you object.
They were not.
They didn't come in. I'm not too sure.
No.
Which ones are you referring to?
I'm sorry?
Which exhibits were you referring to?
No, I objected to the inventory form, not the photo.
Exhibits. Which exhibits are there that you say that were, because there's exhibits, defense exhibits 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Everyone's
Right,
wandering
maybe
around the
ten.
courtroom looking for photos. I believe the photos did come in. They should have been objected to. The state could, and we said sometimes it's better not to object because it looks like, Matthew said sometimes it's better not to object because it looks like you're hiding something. I believe those photos did come in.
I know you, part of your investigation, that you said E.J. Salinas took these photos, right?
I believe it was him. It was not me. Yes.
These were admitted as part of his cross. So this is fair grounds for redirect.
This is Defendant's Exhibit 7.
Hey, I'm in charge here. I'm the boss. Can somebody plug in the projector?
You all have control over that.
Oh, we should be able to see these pictures. There shouldn't be any blood or gore in these. So this is going to be the truck. This will be the evidence in the truck as far as possibly the gun in the door of the truck.
I'm going to show you what's already been admitted as Defendant's Exhibits 4.
There it is.
4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay.
Projector's working now. They fixed it already. That was quick.
Now, where we've already established through his questions, where was this vehicle searched?
It was searched at the substation.
Correct. So these photographs that were taken there, how would you describe these, categorize these photographs?
I think you've got the gun there in the
May I
door
give an explanation?
pocket.
Sure.
I would take photographs like that to show the condition of the vehicle before it left the scene, and also to show what was inside before we get to where we're going,
Preservation photos?
to preserve how it was at that location before it gets to the final destination.
Context photos? I don't know what other terms you could think of, but they're bird's eye photos?
Yes, I mean, preservation would be the
What?
preservation of the way it looked at the scene,
Okay.
and to show any damage or lack of damage.
So going to Mr. Perez's questions and going into the chain of things that went on that day, what is happening here?
It looks like they're taking pictures to show the condition of the vehicle all around.
And what are they doing to the vehicle?
That's a tow truck.
They're towing it, right? And where are they towing it to?
Substation.
So that over there it could be what?
Searched.
Exactly. Now, you can turn that off. Finally, he was talking to you about the keys to the truck.
Was the Lone Star the addition of the truck, or is that the dealership?
You remember,
that sold it?
you've seen the video, or you were actually there, right? When Ortiz was taken down at the Ava Hotel?
I was there.
Okay. There was some keys taken out of his pocket, correct?
Correct.
And they were placed on the tailgate,
Okay.
along with cigarettes, some lighters,
Personal effects, yes.
right? And his belt, right?
Yes.
Were those keys the truck keys?
Were those keys the truck keys? I don't believe they were.
What kind of keys were they?
Like house keys and ranch keys, like they looked like personal keys, and some of the ones he had from work.
So when we've all seen the video, and they're patting and grabbing his pockets and emptying everything and putting it there on the tailgate, and it's in evidence there. At no moment, and he's just run from the stripes, right?
Yes.
And he's hiding in the back of a GMC black pickup truck, right?
Correct.
And he's waiting for law enforcement.
Object to leading, Your Honor.
Leading, sustained. Come on.
And
Oh,
he's
now it's
waiting
overruled.
for law enforcement
Correct.
to come and find him.
That's what he said. Yes, sir.
The keys to his truck are not with him.
I didn't see him there. No, sir.
Loud car revving the engine
If
outside.
you know, when the truck was found at the stripes,
Okay.
was his truck locked? If
I
you-
don't know. I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
It wasn't, I'm guessing.
No further questions, John.
Captain Calderon, with regards to the truck, number one, you don't know if the truck was locked or not, right?
I don't.
Asked and answered.
And did you testify earlier that someone gave you the truck keys?
At the substation.
And who gave them to you?
Asked and answered. He's already said he didn't know. That's been asked and answered multiple times.
No.
I'll allow it.
Somebody there, one of the deputies, like record gave it to the record driver, gave it to somebody there. Somebody walked into the office where I was in the back, gave it to me. I gave him to after Nick.
Okay. Yeah. Out of curiosity, how do you know that the record driver had the keys?
Go ahead.
I mean, are you guessing?
Am I
You
guessing?
said the record driver gave the keys to somebody. How do you know that the record driver had the keys?
How do I know the record driver had the keys?
Yes, sir.
'Cause
If you do, and if you don't, that's okay.
it got there at the same time as the vehicle. They
Say
gave
that one
them.
more time.
They gave them to me at around the same time the vehicle got there.
Okay, but I mean, the truck could have come to the station, and a deputy could have driven with the keys to the station separately, right? I mean, is that beyond comprehension?
It's not, but it wouldn't be common. A deputy shouldn't be handling stuff. It's not in a case that's involving their stuff.
Okay,
A normal deputy wouldn't be grabbing things that don't belong to their case.
and so that's an issue. We don't have a report on the chain of these keys that you know of, right?
Okay.
Is that accurate? There is no report on the chain of these keys?
Of the keys,
On the chain of custody of the keys?
but we normally don't track keys. No, you're right. Yes, no, there's no report on the keys.
Okay,
We track vehicles, not keys.
so I mean, someone has to say how you got into the truck. Don't you think that's important?
I wasn't
Isn't
there.
that important, how you get into a private vehicle,
I
Captain
wasn't
Calderon?
there.
I'm sorry?
I wasn't at the vehicle.
He says stop to him.
The truck was legally parked. Did I already ask you that? Was it legally parked?
Was it legally parked?
Yeah,
I'm assuming it was.
okay. With regards to, Mr. Alanis asked you, what did you know when you were initially questioning Mr. Ortiz, right? He asked you, what did you know at the time when he was answering questions initially? Do you recall that?
Correct.
Okay. But the question on voluntariness is, what did you do to gain cooperation? Do you see the difference? What did you have to do to gain cooperation as a law enforcement officer? Do you see the difference between the two?
And I'm going to object, Your Honor. Now he's going back to what he originally asked across. This has all been covered. This has all been asked and answered. It's repetitive. Asked and
I'm just
answered.
replying to his question on what did he know.
Going round and round, Your Honor.
I'll allow you to rephrase it. I'll allow you to rephrase it. No sidebar from either side, please.
Now, we already went over, like you said, all the supposed inducements that he asked you, for example, did you promise him a dismissal, leniency, and all that? But that's not the issue.
Again, I'm going to object to this line of questioning because he actually objected to those questions.
Okay.
So,
Now, when you said earlier that he asked you, did you feed him? Did you feed Mr. Ortiz? You answered yes, right?
Yes, sir.
But the reality is that for this 9-10 hours or whatever number of hours, you gave him a bag of potato chips, you gave him water, and after you got him to talk, then you gave him a Whataburger. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
That's delicious. Most people don't eat during the middle of the night, though.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
can you tell ladies and gentlemen of the jury what a fob is?
A fob?
Yeah.
Like a key fob?
Yes.
It's like the alarm. The alarm.
It's like a
part of
remote
your
control
car
for
that
the
you
alarm
open your
to
car
lock
with,
the
or
car.
depending on what kind of car you have.
Okay. And how do those key fobs work as far as
If it's the keyless ones, they just have to be in the car and it turns on the car. You can have it in your pocket even, or near the dash. And if it's a keyed one, obviously you turn on the car with your key.
Okay. Was Mr. Ortiz, when confronted by the troopers in this case, did he go and stand by his truck and say, how can I help you?
Lack of personal knowledge. And hearsay.
Rephrase.
Speculation.
Based on the investigation.
It's still lack of personal knowledge, speculation, and hearsay.
So
we
sustain
object.
at this time.
If you know. If you know.
No, it's still lack of personal knowledge, Your Honor. He's relying on hearsay for that.
Sustain still.
Good objections here from the defense.
If you know, well, let me finish my question. Okay.
Then
If
object.
you know, would the vehicle have been able to be opened if the fob was not near the vehicle?
If it, probably not, no.
No further questions. I have no further questions.
Anything further on cross?
We might be done with this witness, finally. Which means we're done with the transcript, Spanish to English cuss word.
Only because Mr. Alanis brought up the fob. Are you aware that this truck did not have a fob?
I
Are you
haven't
even
gone
aware
into
of
the
that?
truck.
I'm sorry?
I haven't gone into the truck.
No, but he asked you.
I was asking the characteristics.
Well, I don't want to speech. Either object or don't give a speech.
He's mischaracterizing.
I don't
He
want to
asked
speech.
you if Mr. Ortiz or whatever had a fob, would it be able to open
Randall,
the
thank you
truck?
for the hype sticker.
And you
Yes.
said probably.
Yes.
And you're guessing.
Appreciate your support.
If it had the fob, yes, I can open the truck.
So we're going to go if it had a fob, the keys had been there, if this. Are you aware that the truck didn't even have a fob? Are you even aware of that, Captain Calderon?
I wasn't there, sir.
Okay, the video has to be turned down right now as we're waiting. we shouldn't be hearing this. So
No further questions. Thank you, Captain.
You missed it?
Thank you.
he seems pretty pleased with the results here. They gave him a Whataburger after confessing. I'd confess right this minute for Whataburger chili cheeseburger. That's definitely coercion. Texas staple.
Your Honor, the state's going to recall Noe Gonzalez, SWAT member. Should be outside. I need the property.
There's the judge, Judge Oscar J. something.
You just need a minute to bring up the property, Your Honor, because if the court can recall, Noe is one of the arresting officers. He's already testified.
Yes, sir.
So we just have to bring up the property.
Okay, are we going to get the cart of evidence? The tire's already in the courtroom, right? It's just sitting there. They just leave it laying around overnight. Yeah, that's what I'm happy about. I'm so glad my truck doesn't have a fob. Now I can get away with 4 counts of murder. The sparring of legal minds. This is there are intricacies here that are involved, but they're legal intricacies,
Is Captain Calderon
and they have.
released from the rule?
Any objection to releasing him, Mr. Perez?
I don't think so, Your Honor. Sorry.
We may want to call him back.
We make recall them.
We might recall everybody. All the witnesses have to wait in the
He's
hall.
not excused at this time. Okay. Or released.
Yeah, there are ramifications.
Yes.
There are
He's
ramifications
excused
for
for
this.
now.
Okay, now this the individual they're pulling back up into the stand. He was initially questioned by the
So Gonzalez, you can, Investigator Gonzalez. you can
assistant
pull.
district attorney who quit. So now he'll be questioned by a different
Yes.
attorney
You
from
under
the
the same oath you
prosecution.
took previously. You can take the witness stand, please.
This will be interesting.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, we established that pronunciation is still being disputed, though, Adam, and I'm not going to make any speculations here on the live stream.
I'm just going to check if Mr. Castillo's outside, Your Honor, the custodian.
Dun dun dun. Door opens. Okay, so the district attorney just left. Court's in session. Witness on the stand. DA just left for the day. So while we're waiting, Randall with the super chat asks, "Did I miss anything really juicy? Was death by meetings all day?" We haven't got into tons juicy. We're getting closer to the anticipated argument. First of all, they've argued a lot of the coercion argument regarding the interrogation, back and forth. A lot of quoting from the transcript, from the eternal videos we watched the last couple days. Really, I don't think they gained any ground there, but we're getting closer to the argument about the search of the truck. We're getting to the point where we're going to determine if the evidence that was found when the police searched the truck without a warrant initially is going to be admissible in court. And it will be interesting to see Mr. Ortiz's reaction one way or the other when that decision is made. We're just building up to that, and I do anticipate that will be made today. But thank you once again for the super chat.
We're probably going to go another 30 minutes, and then we're going to recess for the day. So we're not taking a break just now, but just so you'll know. Okay.
So half an hour. We can do this, guys. The witness is on the stand. He's been sworn in before, so he didn't have to be sworn in again this time. The judge considers him still under oath because he was not released. And the DA is just looking for the evidence. Who has the firearm? Can somebody find the firearm? If it goes missing now, is that a mistrial? A lot of gavels have been thrown today, as defense has done some good defense work, but it has been frustrating to watch sometimes. Did that answer your question, Randall? Is there anything else? Is there anything I missed that anyone in chat wants to fill in as far as the progress here today? We did see the Whataburger. Did you miss that? The card is on the elevator, Your Honor. And somebody hit all the buttons as it's rising up through the floors. It's opening at every floor. It'll be just about 5 more minutes. It'll be here. Monica says, what about probable cause? Isn't that sufficient for search without a warrant? Probable cause, they have to have probable cause. Why would they have to search that? What Matthew's telling us is there's a good chance they didn't have it. I think the gun will be admitted anyway because Ortiz told them where to find it. I don't think you can have it both ways. I don't think you could say we would have got this anyway. Maybe I'm wrong here, but because they got it the first way, I think that's how the evidence will be judged, will be weighed based on how it was first obtained, not the fact that had we obtained it or had we done something else, that had we followed a different procedure, we would have found the gun anyway. So it should be okay. If they broke the rule the first time, all that stuff's out. That's my understanding. And that will be a big win for the defense if that happens. Is this witness the white shirt interrogator? No. This witness is actually one of the officers that was either collecting evidence or on the scene. He's working on the street. He was not an interrogator.
Can you hear me? Test.
No,
No.
you need to turn that on your.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
State your name for the record.
Yes, Your Honor. Rogelio Soto, on behalf of the state, just for the record. Thank you, Your Honor.
This is the new guy.
Investigator Noe Gonzalez, you previously testified that you were involved in the apprehension of Mr. Juan David Ortiz, correct?
Yes,
And that was on September 15th of 2018?
correct.
Okay, now I want to go back to that night. Can you please explain to us what you did as you approached the Ava Hotel?
Which part? Whenever we cleared the first building, or once we?
Yes, as you made your way up the Ava Hotel when you were clearing the parking garage.
Okay. So yeah, we stacked up at that point. Our SWAT commander had advised us to stack up 2 stacks. We're making it up. First floor, nothing. Second floor, we couldn't find anything. Third floor as well. Once we approached to the 4th floor, that's when we came into the part where we saw the last vehicle. We had several pillars left, which we didn't know if he was behind those pillars or he was by the vehicle. I had pointed out to the left to the last vehicle. At that point, I believe the last 2 SWAT members from the stack broke off, and that's when they approached the vehicle and observed Mr. Ortiz in the back of the truck. That's when we all closed in and pulled him out of the truck.
Okay, now, if you could please describe what was the parking garage like?
It was well lit. I believe the southbound, or I can't recall, I think it was the southbound of the building was covered. The east and west was open, to include, I believe, the north side. But it was 3 sides open, cleared, and well lit. There was no much, nothing covering. I mean, you could see all the way to the horizon.
He wants to use some Spanish,
Okay,
you can tell.
Now, when you observed this, was there any blockings or anything like that
No.
in the garage area?
No.
No?
I think only one part of the hotel was.
He's talking about the
So-
fence.
It's safe to say that if somebody wanted to try and get out through the parking garage or jump or climb down, that could have been done.
Correct.
Okay.
No, that's not true.
Permission to approach, Your Honor? Thank you.
He's understanding it wrong. There was a like a wrought iron fence over the walls, and in the testimony we heard that,
Now,
that
Investigator
he wanted to jump, but he was frustrated because there was a
I'm
fence.
showing you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 43. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
When and where was this item recovered?
At the parking lot of the Ava Hotel.
Who recovered this item?
That was me.
Or who recovered these items?
I put most of those items inside the bag. I had possession of the bag, I believe all the way to the substation, and then from there I passed it on.
Okay. Now, how are you? I'm sorry, I know you already said it, but could you just state for the jury, how are you familiar with these items?
Yeah, so this is the items we recovered from Mr. Ortiz at the location where we detained him, actually to include some boots, and I believe the last item that went into this bag was a box of cigarettes that were on the floor that Mr. Ortiz had requested.
Okay. Now, have these items been altered or changed since you took possession of them?
No.
No?
No, once they went into the bag, I did not touch them.
Okay. And you said that you took them with you?
Yes,
Where did you take them?
to the substation.
And when you arrived to the substation, what did you do then?
I believe from my recollection, I passed it on to one of the supervisors, and then from there on, I'm assuming it went into evidence, but I cannot recall exactly.
For the record, what's the exhibit?
This is State's Exhibit 43, Your Honor. Okay. Can you just give me a second?
Just open it and dump it out on the floor so we can see what's inside there. Going to identify it, submit it to evidence right now. There probably will be an objection. Is it objected to all other evidence?
With the court, just for clarification with the court, Your Honor, 43 has previously been admitted by the court? No? Okay.
It was identified.
Okay.
Along with a lot of other exhibits, but it was not offered. Has not been offered yet and not admitted.
All right, Your Honor. So you've established that you took custody of these items, you placed them in the bag, and you're familiar with them because these were the items that were taken that night from Juan Ortiz.
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, let the record reflect on tendering to defense what will be marked as State's Exhibit 43 for inspection.
Defense doesn't use gloves. It's good practice to maintain that. There could be drugs, there could be residue, there could be all sorts of things on it. He's giving the evidence to the defendant. Somebody has the hiccups. I think it's the court clerk.
We object. I mean, he's offering them, Your Honor, but this is the beginning of the chain. We still have to go and see where they went, and then at some point they would become relevant. And so we object to relevance at this point and chain of custody.
Yeah, Your Honor, these items were identified with Investigator Nenke, Your Honor, and Mr. Noe Gonzalez is a sponsoring witness because he's the one who took custody of them at the crime scene. Okay.
Objections noted. Objection overruled. Exhibit 43 will be admitted into evidence at this time.
Okay, so this is whittling away at the defense objections to evidence that was collected that day.
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm now going to open.
You already did.
Marked as State's Exhibit 43. I'm going to show you a set of keys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you recognize this item?
Not really.
Oh,
Nope.
well,
I remember he had keys at the moment. I just don't recall how the keys exactly looked. I just remember there was keys at the location.
okay, but you can say that these were the items that were taken from his person
Yes.
that night.
That's
I
really
remember
bad
there
for him to
was,
say I don't
several items
recognize
to
them.
include a set of keys, which those were possibly the keys that were in Mr. Ortiz's possession.
Okay. Now,
That's
and
so bad.
you just testified these items have not been altered. They have not been
No.
changed. These were the exact items that you handed over
Correct.
to the sheriff's department at the sheriff's substation department. Correct.
Correct. Yes.
So these are the keys that were at the apprehension.
The answer is
of Juan
yes.
David Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Witness, yes,
Okay.
those are the
And
keys.
how do you know that?
Because I took the keys from the location that we were at and put everything inside the bag.
Okay, and when and where were they recovered?
From Mr. Ortiz's body whenever we arrested him.
And they're in a similar situated situation as they were that night.
Correct.
Situated situation.
Your Honor, I'm
It's a
going to
technical
mark
term.
these as State's Exhibit 154. I'm going to tender them. Let the record reflect on tendering them to defense counsel for inspection.
Sorry, my bad. I forgot to. Matthew Harris has been providing the witness names for me to pin on chat. Thank you so much, by the way, for that, Matthew. But then I forget to update it.
So, you can you pull the vote briefly?
The other lawyer was so quick, really good with the questioning. It was just almost like ping pong, like a champion ping pong match, just back and forth, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. It was the most effective process you could possibly want. But yes, he did quit. And so now we have this new guy who's a little unsure of himself. As soon as the defense started to object, he looked back at the district attorney like, help, what's going on type thing. Let's see how he does. But I was not impressed with the witness's answer to that. When he pulled the keys out, the witness had authenticated the evidence, saying, yes, this is the evidence bag. They pull the keys out and they say, these are the ones you got. And he's like, I don't know. They don't look familiar to me. I'm like, what? You just said this was the evidence you got. And so he walked him through it again, and he gave the right answers the second time. But it is disturbing that he just said, I don't know. He should be able to look at it and say, yes, that's the evidence bag. That's everything. That's correct. Look, those are keys. I can tell you that much. Seems as though it's been a very long day today. It has. We're almost done. Less than half an hour here to go.
Yes, Your Honor. For purposes of clarification, this will be marked for identification purposes as Exhibit 43A.
State's Exhibit 43A.
I don't know what the ruling was. Did they get the keys entered as evidence, or are they now an exhibit?
Now, Investigator Gonzalez, I removed what's been marked as 43A, State's Exhibit 43A for identification purposes. Do you see any other set of keys in here?
No.
Are there any devices that look like they could be linked to a vehicle?
No.
Any devices that look like they could be linked to a Dodge vehicle?
No.
If anything, what do you see in this bag?
I see a belt, a box of cigarettes, and 2 lighters.
Thank you.
Keys go back in the bag.
And just for clarification, these and only these things were recovered that night from the defendant, Juan Ortiz.
Correct. And a set of boots.
Inside the boots. Thank you.
Pass the witness.
And I'll show you 43A again, just for clarification. This set of keys does not contain a key to a vehicle.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
So there's no truck key on that keychain, which means he abandoned the keys as well.
You may step down.
I think that's what we're getting at. There was no cross. They did get some of the evidence in there, whittling away at the defense's
You want to approach? Yes.
argument that this couldn't be brought in. And I don't know what happened in pretrial over this. Maybe they agreed not to bring it up, and they're dancing around this the elephant in the room, which is all the evidence they got from this seizure. Do you think the judge ruled on this already? Because I thought they said it hadn't been ruled on. I mean, the tire's sitting there in the middle of the room. That's obviously from searching the truck. Maybe that was obtained during the warranted
All right,
search.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to go ahead and recess for the day. And I'll just remind you not to discuss the facts of the case with anyone, and not to watch any news accounts or read any newspaper articles regarding this case. I know there's a lot of coverage out there, so
There's a lot,
please follow my instructions.
especially over here on YouTube.
And you'll
Judge
be
Oscar
excused,
J.
and I'll ask you to
Hale
be
is his
back
name.
on Monday morning by 8:30 on Monday morning. It's for the record, it's December 5th, right? To the 2nd. So we'll see you then. Thank you.
All right, for the jury.
It was nice to have Ken's 5 continue their stream from gavel to gavel today and not cut us off right at the last minute. Can we agree that the judge has a mullet, says Matthew Harris? I think we can stipulate that. Okay, so this is interesting. Matthew, before we go
And
here
we're off
today,
the record, but Mr. Perez and Mr. Aranis. Off the record.
off the record. Never mind. Mike's got shut off. He's like, could you give me a copy of that 12 disc set, or maybe can I have them autographed by the defendant, because I'd like to sell them on eBay. The defendant's like, yeah, I could sign those if it would do me some good. If you go a little lenient on me, that'll be good. Aren't you glad I'm here to read all this lip reading, so I can tell you what's going on when the microphones have turned off? Mullets are back in fashion. Don't shoot the messenger, says Hola. It comes around. What was old is new again. Okay, it was an early day. It is Friday. It is Friday, which means someone is getting a 12-disc set in a White Elephant gift this year. And they're going to love disc 6 and 7 if they can sit through the first 5. But it's a skullet. A skullet, not a mullet. Crazy stuff today. For those of you who are new today, if you want to follow this and enjoy this group, this commentary, this sort of vantage point with multiple angles and analysis from several different sources, please go ahead and give me a subscribe on YouTube. Click that little bell button. We will be back on Monday. But before then, we'll be back tomorrow. And it's an opportunity you can get to know some of the people in chat. We do have a burner phone here at the Recovery Addict channel, and we use that for people to text confessions of their criminal activity. Wait, that was a different number. We use that for people to send in pictures of what they have are doing, what interests them, pets, food, vacations, just pretty pictures they took from their driveway, you name it. And we do a little show and tell in what we call Recovery Weekend, where after a week of listening to painful audio in an interrogation room or listening to disturbing witness testimony, we do a little reset and just look at some of the pretty things in life and smile, have a good time together. You're welcome to join us. That will be at 11 o'clock. There's the tire right there, the offending tire. He's got some nice rims on there too. That's some money. Anyway, we do that tomorrow on Saturday at 11 o'clock. We have quite a few pictures. If you want one added to the display, to the list, go ahead and send a text message with the picture over to the burner phone, 801-513-1160. And as long as it's appropriate, for public viewing, there's a good chance we'll include it. Obviously, I can't include everything that gets sent in. We do have a lot of stuff sent in that I'm not able to. And obviously, if you share something with me and don't want it to be viewed by the public, please let me know as well. And I'll make sure that doesn't happen. Matthew Harris says, I'm going to get you a custom duck quack MP3 tonight and drop it on Discord. Wonderful, Matthew. No joke. I was looking for duck quacks before I went live this morning to replace the beep sound, which is a little bit too loud. But hopefully I'll be able to get the volume level down to a level that doesn't make us go deaf every time it goes through. Mullets are tricky when you're bald. Look at that tread. This is the tire. This tire print supposedly matches the tire prints found at the crime scenes where at least one, maybe 2 bodies were discovered. I know on one of the scenes they made a casting of the tire print, and it broke, and they were not able to retrieve that. The second one, though, they were able to retrieve, and I believe it did match. So that will be interesting to see for sure. Is there anything else I need to cover here? First of all, thank you everyone who's joined, everyone who's participated in chat, who's watched, who's clicked to the like button, all 81 of you. Basically half the people in viewing right now have clicked that. All those who have donated via Super Chat or Super Sticker, thank you so much. That means a lot to me and my family. It helps us be able to keep this channel going and supplies me with pickles, which is more important. But thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here. We look forward to doing this again on Monday. It's going to be absolutely epic. I got my dogs barking with the beep. Hey, Ann, wait till I start using my Alexa commands and ask Siri to have things to do things in your house. Turn on the radio, turn the volume up, things like that. I've got a whole bunch of tricks up my sleeve that can just cause mayhem in all your homes. Now we have somebody blocking the view of the tire. 11 o'clock Eastern time, KQD, that is correct. That gives me enough time to get my breakfast out of the way and spend some time with the family in the morning. I think with as much time as I have right now, we're going to be setting up the Christmas tree tonight and do a little decorating. Someone better text recovery a photo of a Whataburger. I'm so dang curious now, says AJ. All right. Michelle Johnson, cliffhanger, I want more. You want more of what? We will have more of all of this next week. Throws the gavel at videographer. There we go. I think the tire is the final final image we're going to get from that courtroom today. I hope to be back on Monday, says Abby, if I'm not still babysitting. Have a great weekend. Hugs from everybody. Thank you, Abby. Appreciate all the mods and all you do for the channel. You're greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. If you're new here, welcome. Drop your name in chat. Say hello. Maybe text me on the burner phone. I'd like that as well. We will see everybody tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern for Recovery Weekend. Other than that, when you go home, if you're not home right now, please hug the ones you love. Make somebody happy, smile at them, make their day a little better, and please be safe until I see you on the next live stream. Thanks.